Я не очень понял, что они говорили, поэтому я пытаюсь как можно короче сказать. Я так вижу, люди уже там загипнотизированы, и, по-моему, если даже вопросы задавать, никто ничего не поймет. Но нам нужно говорить по-английски, потому что потом мы хотим это все обсуждать вместе с участием Фреда, поэтому я сейчас как-то вас к жизни пробуждаю, а потом мы вернемся. My 10 minutes are dedicated to talking about using international IP in Russian production. 15 years ago, we bought the games developed in other countries. 5 years later, we started to bring the games to Russia and to sell them. A little bit later, the gentleman on the right started to develop games for other publishers, like Heroes of Might and Magic. In Kiev, Meridian developed Carcassonne for Koch. In St. Petersburg, Kayat developed Witch. Basically, we got access to international brands, but they were owned not by us, and we were making a tiny profit as outsourcer. Finally, right now we license, develop, and sell international brands in other territories. Akela is doing Disciples, Jacked Alliance, Nikolai is doing King's Bounty, Sergey is doing, well, he's creating his own IPs, so it's even one step farther. But basically, we moved from being consumers to being producers, from being hired to hiring people, and to being in control of what we do with the licensed property. There are several reasons that contributed to that change. First of all, the communication around the world changed significantly. We got richer. I think my salary at the moment is a little bit higher than the annual costs of keeping my studio in 1996. So let's say it's not a problem for me. Yes. So it's not a problem for me to spend some money scouting for properties, whereas 15 years ago the cost was prohibitive. We also have better experience in understanding the other markets. We understand what is German market, American market, Italian market. We understand what is EDF. I'm not sure that many people... he is not an expert in, you see, licensing. He's an expert in creating. But EDF, for those of you who want to know, is the show that happens every year in Cannes. It is dedicated to content sales in Southern Europe, which is Spain and Italy and part of France. 15 years ago, I had no clue what this is. This year, I'm taking part. Same about America. We participated in PAX last year. This year, we participate in PAX West and PAX East. 5 years ago, I had no clue what is PAX. In general, we moved from business to business to consumer. Nikolai is now concerned about impressing the public with King's Bounty and not the other publishers. He doesn't care what other publishers think about King's Bounty. He cares what the consumers think about King's Bounty, which removes the approval by publisher. If he has a good idea, if Sergey has a good idea, he can sell it to consumer. He doesn't need to sell it to any French idiot who is in charge of making decisions of whether or not this is interesting to his market. The fifth change is the increase in available segments, and as Dmitry said, there are more options now to use IP in games, in casual, in social, on Facebook, in PSN, XBLA. You can bring something to Sony Home, you can do something on VMware. Basically, you don't have to buy a license to Fallout to talk about licensing. You can buy a license to some small, cheap something, let's say $5,000 for a license to one of the Jetix properties for kids television, and then develop a game for $50,000 and let's say make a 20% profit, and this will be called using international IP in games business. 15 years ago, the scale was much higher. You had to buy the whole thing, and then that was a lot of risk. As an illustration of those developments, I wanted to attract the attention of Nikolai. He goes to, you see, he goes to Warsaw tomorrow, and I just registered him for his flight tomorrow morning. I was able to do it because now you can register online. He is going to Warsaw to review part of business in Poland. So he has expertise of what sells and what doesn't sell in Poland. And this ticket is fucking expensive. But he can afford it because he makes more business to cover those costs. So right now we are in a position to spend money to understand international markets and to do it very quickly. What this gives to us is opportunities. Instead of developing your own IP, yes, the expensive way or the slow way, you can immediately pick up the license that gives you a target audience. You can reach other markets. We licensed recently a property in Italy that is very strong in Italy. And also in Spain, and in France, and in Germany. It's an IP international, it's on games. And we are now making games based on that. So we are entering Italian market. We will be #1 in the segment. We cannot develop something that will be #1 ourselves.
That's actually proves my point. There's no market.
100,000 copies.
There is market there, but nobody pays you.
We will make them pay us. We sell to little girls. We achieve safer P&L for finance. When we build the budget for the project, we think how we're going to break even and make a profit. If you have a license, we already solved the question whether or not the game will be exciting. He's paid a lot of money to solve this question. We remove the question. We basically buy IPs from people like him, but and use it. So one market is full exposure to the risks. If you were making I don't know, what do you make for Russia only? Ilya Muromets Super RPG. And the market fails, like in 2008, then you're fucked. You cannot do anything because there is no money on the market. You cannot collect the money, so you lose. If you work for several markets, and let's say Poland goes down, but Poland went down a little bit later than Russia. So we were still making money in Poland when we were not making money in Russia. Then Germany was still making money when the US collapsed. Scandinavia died before Spain and Italy. So it's similar to digital distribution. If you only make money with Steam, then you rely just on Steam. If you work with Direct to Drive, Impulse, Gamersgate, Good Old Games, Tomai, blah, 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 let's say one of them goes down, the rest goes onward.
Everybody died after all, right?
Yes, everybody moved to the heaven of online world, and now we expect online to go the same way. First of all, we know what consumer wants now, after 15 years. Second of all, we need access to international markets, and we need fast access. We want to be immediately there instead of building something like Nival for 10 years. We have money to spend on the license. So Nikolai has a lot of money, Dmitry has a lot of money, his company. Everybody here in the panel has a lot of money in terms of business to invest. So, we're not trying to save costs, we're trying to make profit. We know from whom to license. The gentleman here in blue shirt knows so many opportunities in the business of licensing and of different IPs and different genres that you can come to him with the idea, and I'm sure that he'll be able to direct you to a appropriate IP owner. 15 years ago,